The narratives that you are about to see are fictionalized scenarios. Names, characters, businesses, places, events, locales, and incidents are either the products of the author's imagination or used in a fictitious manner. Any resemblance to actual persons, living or dead, is purely coincidental. Use Case 3 narrative demonstrates UVR request, creation, and distribution in high-density airspace. As the sun starts to set on the farmers market in Rome, a public safety officer requests a UAS volume reservation, or UVR, in preparation for the fireworks event. The purpose of the UVR is to notify operators in the area that something significant and essential is happening. In this case, clearing the airspace so no aircraft will get hit by fireworks. The FAA receives the UVR, and drone operators in the airspace over the farmers market receive this information from their USS. The package delivery, media activity, and event management drones choose to either leave the airspace or end their operations. Meanwhile, Meghan is back on the scene with a new drone to replace her broken one. But she didn't receive the public safety UVR alert because her new drone is not connected to a USS. Meghan continues with her flight, getting dangerously close to the scene of the fireworks event. Law enforcement and public safety officials notice that Meghan's drone has not cleared the airspace. An Oneida County Sheriff uses remote ID to determine the location of her drone and initiate the appropriate process to request operator contact information from the Federal Aviation Administration.
When we went into the third use case, that particular use case demonstrated another concept known as UAS volume reservations, or UVRs. This is similar to a TFR, temporary flight restriction area, where from a small UAS standpoint, you cordon off a certain section of airspace for a certain period of time.
This use case also builds upon the previous two scenarios that have been conducted up until now. It includes both the high density environment as well as intent changes in addition to the UAS volume reservation concept. In this scenario, an additional flight intent change can be created due to UVR. If the UVR is put into place, or that volume is put into place where there is priority operation occurring, those that are already in flight need to change their intents or their flight plans in order to deconflict from that volume. We envision that authorized entities such as public safety entities can request UVRs. The policy and business rules are currently being developed in order to support the technology that is being demonstrated here today. Some of the scenarios that UVRs can potentially be used for are areas such as search and rescue, as demonstrated in this scenario. Some other scenarios that UVRs could be used for are firefighting operations, search and rescue, medevac operations, or generally alerting to potential manned operations in an area.
At the end of the day of the farmers market, we used to have a fireworks display. And in order to do this, we don't want any UASs flying in this particular area. So we tell all the UASs they should exit the airspace. The way this is actually done in the USS network, you could send messages potentially to the individual operators, but how we did it and utilizing another capability of the USSs is put a constraint in. We put a constraint in over the farmers market saying that this is essentially a no-fly zone. Each USS notifies their individual operators that this constraint got put in. And based on the operation or scenario, and based on the fact that it's not safe to be in that area, those operators would exit the area.
Those that have been qualified from the FAA to request a UVR, as well as the entity providing the UVR has also been qualified by the FAA to provide that particular service. The creation and distribution of a UVR or UAS volume reservation is another component of the data exchange that we're looking to enable from the industry side and notify the FAA on an as-needed basis. This provides a common situational awareness picture for all those operating in that common area and provides the operators with an extra component of information in order to conduct their operation safely. We envision UVRs to be small in space and small in time constraints, so they don't necessarily have a direct tie-in to our traditional temporary flight restriction process. Within UVRs, we envision there's multitudes of actions that an operator could take. If the UVR were more of a restriction, operators are provided with a heightened sense of priority operations. They are notified. They have additional information to maintain clear separation from the priority operations taking place in a particular volume.